I get hungry when I think of you. Like champagne and caviar, you're such a treat. Like cherries jubilee, you're oh so sweet. You whet my appetite each time we meet. Oh, James, it's true. I get hungry when I think of you.
All right, now let me just put some water in here. We're going to do Szechuan food today. Szechuan's the north part of China, and I guess what I would think is probably a very unpleasant place to live unless you are Szechuanese. It's like North Dakota, or a bit like Winnipeg. It's very cold in the winter, and it's very hot in the summer. And it's probably, what the interesting thing to know about it is that it's Chinese, but they don't eat a lot of rice. They eat an awful lot of noodles because they grow flour. I'm going to put that over there for a purpose, and you'll see. So just imagine that we are peasants up in the north of China, and we haven't got a lot of heat, we haven't got a lot of things, we haven't got a lot of meat, we haven't got a lot of money. I'm going to make 3 Szechuan dishes. First of all, I'm going to make some soup. Everybody knows, well, it's not first of all, last of all, I'm going to make soup. But everybody knows that to make soup, you have to have stock. Well, the best way to make stock is to take any piece of meat and just put it in water and let it simmer. And you can also, if you want to, get a piece of onion, let's take about 2/3 of this, and just put that in, and you have got stock. That's really what stock's all about. I'm going to put a couple cloves of garlic in there. And these are all things that they've got. They grow up in northern China, in Saskatchewan. So now we're going to make, let me crank that one up. There we go. We're going to make something called Kung Pao Chicken. You can make Kung Pao pork, or you can make Kung Pao turkey, or Kung Pao ostrich, or Kung Pao elephant, if you find an elephant butcher. We're going to I'll show you how you do it. The important thing to know about cooking Chinese food is something that a lot of us don't really understand, and that's the proper use of cornstarch. I'm just going to cut up this chicken into cubes, right? So that, you know, it will cook quickly. So here we go. There we go. Little cubes of chicken. Now, the best way to deal with this now is to get a little bowl and a little bit of cornstarch. The cornstarch makes things thick and glossy. That's why sort of Chinese food has that nice glossy sauce on it. Much of it's to do with cornstarch. Okay? You can turn that down a little bit now. We'll get some sesame oil in it. Get sesame oil in any supermarket. A little bit of sesame oil, give it some flavor. A little bit of soy sauce to give it some liquid. And come on, a bit of flavoring. And then you have to stir it up so it all goes smooth. Now the big thing now, there's a reason for this. You put all the chicken in there, not to marinate it, but to get some cornstarch and some flavoring on the outside of it. Put it all in there, and this is really the best way to do it. You can always wash your hands afterwards, but make sure everything gets touched and lightly coated by this cornstarch and oil mixture. Now, if you lived in Szechuan, I'm just going to wipe my hands on here. If you lived in Szechuan, they grow a lot of peanuts. We're going to use peanuts in this dish, but you'd use peanut oil. We haven't got peanut oil at the moment. Maybe you haven't. You can use any kind of oil. So put in a couple of tablespoonfuls of oil into the hot pan. So crank it on, crank it up high. Get it up good and high. And then put the chicken in. what you do, better turn this around so you can see. You don't put it in all kinds of lumps. You just put it in 1 or 2 bits at a time, so they all stay separate. Because if you put them in a great lodge, they'll turn into a solid lump of great. So we just move these all around so that they are separate bits of. And see how the oil spreads out. That's why, Chinese woks are never washed, and they've got their own sort of non-stick bit on them because their non-stick accumulates over the years. You've got a non-stick pan. Well, you ought to have. And there you are. So we just fry the chicken as fast as we can, all in separate bits. Put that over there. We get ourselves an onion. Here's an onion. And we put some hot spices in there. Now, if you lived in Saskatchewan, in Szechuan, or in North Dakota, you'd probably grow those and just put them hot peppers right in there. If you haven't got hot peppers like this, then put in some cayenne pepper. Now look, the undersides of the chicken, get it separate, are all starting to go a little bit crisp. As soon as they've got the other side coated, we just turn it all over. Turn it all over so it's got that nice, crispy, nutty sort of feel to it. All right. Now, as soon as it's got that sort of nuttiness underneath there, in goes the onion, and in goes, stir that around so it all gets kissed as well, and then in goes some garlic. Now, we'll do it the quick way. They don't have these up in Szechuan, I know, but we'll just, because they haven't got the internet. There we go. Garlic. A bit more. Lots of garlic is a good idea. Now, put that in like that. Right. Now the next thing, you use what you've got, right? We're going to use what we've got. If we lived in Szechuan, we'd have peanuts. This is what you can buy Kung Pao. You can, get Kung Pao shrimp that needs with peanuts. So we'll put in some shelled peanuts. Doesn't matter if they come out of a packet. Doesn't matter if they're salted. They just have to be fairly fresh. Keep the heat up high. And there we go. We've got what's starting to look like Kung Pao chicken. Now, as soon as you get a little bit of redness in there, we want a bit more soy sauce. This is how quickly you do it. I know a guy who runs a Chinese restaurant, and his cook can turn out 3 dishes every 2 minutes. Just think of that. A bit of soy sauce to give it color, and a little bit of stock, or whatever, to make it into a sauce. So we take some of the stock out of there, put it in there. Now watch it go. Now watch happens. We get a sauce coming, that thickness from the cornstarch. And that's it. That's the way we go. We'll find a plate, put that on. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Anne Murray. There is no one like her.
As far back as I can remember, I sang.
In one incredible evening, she sings her favorite songs and performs with Jan Arden, Bryan Adams, and Celine Dion. An intimate evening with Anne Murray, Sunday at 9 on CBC.
Put a few green onions around there because they look nice, green and red. There you are. Now we're going to do a couple of vegetables. I'll crank up these fry pans. I want to show you, and this is a baby wok and this is a baby fry pan. You can use them either. You can use what you've got. All right. Now